Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In our last video, we summarized all the collection data types, and in this video, we're going to learn yet another important concept in Python, that is the conditional statements. I highly recommend watching this on a bigger screen and coding along with me. That's the best way to learn. If you get stuck anywhere, feel free to drop your questions in the comments below or email me at saket.saketlabs@gmail.com. I'd love to help. And before we jump in, if you are enjoying this Python series, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on any future lessons. It really helps the channel grow and keeps me motivated to create more awesome tutorials for you. Alright, let's get started. So, if conditional statements are those statements which enables or disables execution of code. For example, here you can see if statement has two parts in it. First part is condition and the second part is execution block. Execution blocks are also called as clauses. So this is if clause. The code inside the if block is if clause. So if the first part of a conditional statement is condition itself. So here you can see this is the condition. All the condition statements evaluates to boolean. It either gives true or false. As you can see here, we have initialized temperature to 30 and we are checking here if temperature is greater than 25, which is 30 is greater than 25, which means this expression evaluated to true. Hence, print it's a hot day will be printed. Let's try to do that in the interactive terminal. So I'll initialize temperature variable to value 30 and now let me try to execute the if block. If temperature is greater than 30 colon, as you can see here, I'll print temperature is I'll print it's a hot day. So as temperature here is 30 is not is 30 greater than 30 evaluates to false, as 30 is equal to 30. So print statement didn't get executed. For example, if I do if temperature is greater than 25, print it's a hot day, you can see it's a hot day got printed here. As temperature, I've initialized temperature to 30 and I've been matching it with 25. For example, temperature is 30, right? 30 is greater than 25. So this expression evaluates to true. Hence, it's a hot day is printed. So this is about the if statement. There is a next type of conditional statement, which is if else. As you can see here, if an expression evaluates to true, this block of code will be executed, and if this expression evaluates to false, this block of code will get executed. Let us try to execute that. I'll just copy this and paste it in interactive terminal. So as the temperature is 20 and here you can see 20 is 20 greater than 25? No, it is not greater than 25. So this expression evaluates to false. Hence, the else block will get executed. So it prints it's not too hot. If the temperature were to be 30 degrees, then this expression would have evaluated to true, then it's a hot day would have been printed. But in this case the temperature is 20, which is not greater than 25, hence the else part got executed. So one more type of conditional statement is if, elif and else. So here we can check multiple conditions here. Here we were checking only one condition. Here what we were doing, we were checking just one condition, and here we also have a block which executes if this condition fails. Here in if, elif and else block we have two conditions, one this, second this, and if both of this condition evaluates to false, then the else block will get executed. For example, if we consider temperature to be 15, is 15 greater than 30? No, it is not. Then this condition will be evaluated. Is 15 greater than 20? No, it is not. So this block of code will get printed. Let me try to run this. As you can see, 15 is not greater than 30, hence this block of code gets skipped. 15 is not greater than 20, this block also gets skipped, but the else part will get executed, hence it's a bit code got printed in the terminal. So just like this, if we want to add additional conditional checks, we can just do it like this. We can add as many elif blocks as we want. Temperature is greater than 15, print it's okay, something like this. We can add as many elifs as possible as we want, but after if we can chain as many elifs as possible as we want, and there can only be one else block. We cannot write one more else block like this. Else is the ultimate block which we want to execute if all the conditions fail. So as you can see, if I type else, it already says, it already gives an error. As you can see, it is giving error. Now let us try to understand and or keywords in Python. So in the conditions, we can chain multiple conditions in one statement, one conditional expression using and or. So if we use and, then if both the conditions evaluates true, then this block will get executed. And if we use or between two expressions, then if either of the expression is true, then the block will get executed. Let us try to run this code to understand it better. As you can see here, we have initialized variable age to 20 and variable is student to true. So here you can see age is less than 25, then this expression got evaluated to true, and this is already true because is student is set as true. So true and true will always evaluate to true. So this block of code will get executed. So I'll first explain how and works. So if either of the expression evaluates to false, for example, let's assume first expression evaluated to true and second expression evaluated to true, then the statement will get executed. Then the statement will get executed. If first expression evaluates to true and second expression evaluates to false, then the code will not get executed. The if clause will not get executed. If the first expression evaluates to false and the second expression evaluates to true, the same here also the code won't get executed. And if both the expression evaluates to false and false, even in this case also the code if clause will not get executed. This is how AND works. If both the expressions evaluates to true, then the if clause will get executed. In any other case, the if clause will not get executed. Now let us try to understand OR. So OR works this way. So if either of the expression evaluates to true, then the if clause will get executed. For example, if you see, if expression 1 evaluates to true and the expression 2 also evaluates to true, then the if clause will get executed. If first expression evaluates to true and second expression evaluates to false, even in this case also the expression gets the if clause will get executed. And if if first expression evaluates to false and the second expression to true, even in this case also the expression gets the if clause will get executed. And the last case is if both the expressions evaluates to false, then the if clause will not get executed. This is how OR works. I'm sorry, this was supposed to be OR. So this is how OR works. Only if both the expression evaluates to false, then it will not get executed, or else in all the other cases the if clause will get executed, if block. Yeah. So this is how OR works and this is how AND works. Let us try to execute this code and see. So here you can see the age is initialized to 70. 70 is greater than 65 and he is veteran. So hence you qualify for special discount will get executed, will get printed on the terminal. You are qualified for the special discount. Now let me try to make this as false. Even in this case also it says you will qualify for the special discount, as we have used OR operator and age is 70 is greater than 65, which evaluates to true. So if either of the case is true, then the statement will get executed, we know that. So here is veteran is false and age is greater than 65 is true, so hence the clause will get executed. Let us try to run this. As you can see, you qualify for the special discount. Now let me make the age as 50. Now this expression evaluates to false and so does this is veteran. In this case nothing will get printed on the screen. As you can see, nothing got printed here. So now let me make is veteran as true. Now again this expression, this print statement will be executed. Let me now try. As you can see, you qualify for the special discount, as is veteran is true and age greater than 65 is false. False and true results in execution of the if clause. So now let us try to understand this better using examples, hands-on examples. So the first problem statement is to ask a user if for their age and print if they can vote or not. I'm assuming the right age to vote is 18. So if the age of the user's age is greater than 18, we'll say he can vote, or else we'll say he cannot vote, he or she cannot vote. Let us try to create a file. I'll name the file as vote.py. So let me just copy the problem statement. The first part is to get the user's age, and to get the input from a user we use input method, and pass please enter your age as a message to that. We'll initialize the variable age from the output of input method. So as we know, input method returns string, whereas age is integer. So what we'll do is we'll typecast it to int. So now the variable age is of type int. So then we'll try to compare age. If it is greater than, age is greater than 18, then I'll print eligible to vote. If in case age is less than 18, then I'll print not eligible to vote. Let us try to run this. I run. So it is asking for my age. I'll enter 24. As 24 is greater than 18, it prints eligible to vote. Let me try to add my age as 7. As you can see, when I add 7, is 7 greater than 18? No, it is not greater than 18. So this expression evaluates to false, hence else block will get printed, not eligible to vote. Let's go to the next problem statement. Here we have to check if the number entered by the user is odd or even. I'll create a file, some odd even.py. I'll copy the problem statement, paste it. I'll ask the user to enter number. Once the user enters the number, we want the number to be int, so I'll cast this input to int. Now the variable num is of type int. So to verify whether a number is even or odd, we'll try to divide it by 2, and if the remainder is 0, then we say the number is even. If the remainder is 1, then we say the entered number is odd. So to do that, if num modulus 2. So what this modulus operator returns is, it will return the remainder. For example, 5 divided by 5 modulus 2 gives 1, because 2 2's 4 and 5 minus 4 is 1, because when we divide 5 by 2 we get 1 as a remainder. So the modulus operator just gives the remainder. So when I do num modulus 2 equal to 0, so this is how we check the condition. When we use single equal to, this is when we use single equals to, this is an assignment in the sense the value get assigned to variable. But when we use double equal to, it is we verify if num modulus 2 is equal to 0. So we verify whether both the operands of this operator are equal. So if num modulus 2 equal to 0, meaning if a number is divided by 2 and the remainder is 0, then we print it is even. Or even we can do this, from the previous videos, we already know we can interpolate string using f and passing the variable names between the curly braces. So if this num modulus 2 is not equal to 0, then I can say the entered number is odd. Let me try to execute this now. I'll add 7. As 7 modulus 2 returns 1, 1 is not equal to 0, else block will get executed. So if I try to add even number, you can see 10 is even. 10 modulus 2 gives 0, which is equal to 0, hence this block of code will get executed. Let us go to the next problem. Here what we have to do is we have to find out whether the number entered by the user is positive, negative or 0. pnz.py. This is the problem statement, and we'll take the number as input from the user. So once the number is inserted, we are just casting it to int. And now let us try to write conditional statements. If num is greater than 0, then we say it is positive. Elif number is less than 0, we say it is negative, or else ultimately the else block, even if it is neither positive nor negative, we can say it is 0. Let me try to execute this now. So the number I enter is 10. You can see I got positive. Since 10 is greater than 0, print positive got executed. As you can observe here, if one of the condition passes, the corresponding block of code will execute, and it will not execute any other part of the conditional statement. Since num 10 was greater than 0, this was executed, and rest of the if elif else block got completely ignored. So you have to keep a note of this. This is how the if, elif and else block works. If either of the condition evaluates to true from if and elif blocks, it will execute that block, and it will come out of the if, elif and else conditional blocks, conditional statements. That is how if, elif and else works. So now let me try to add my number as minus 10. As minus 10 is less than 0, first it will check whether minus 10 is greater than 0, which is not true. Then it will go to elif block. Minus 10 is less than 0, this evaluates to true. Then it prints then it executes this block and comes out of if, elif and else block. So now if I try to add 0, as you can see, enter a number. When I try to add 0, you can see num is 0 greater than 0, false. Is 0 less than 0, false. Then ultimate else block got executed, which is 0 here. So now let's go to the next problem statement, which is vowels and consonants. Vowels or consonants. I'll create a file, vowel consonant.py. So here what we have to do, we have to get an input from user. will add the alphabet. So once the user enters alphabet, we have to check if alphabet is equal to A or alphabet equal to B, sorry, E, or alphabet equal to I, or alphabet equal to O, A, E, I, O, U, or alphabet equal to U. Then if the alphabet is either of these, as we know from the earlier that if either of the expression results to true, then the corresponding clause will get executed. You can see here. From here we can say if either of the expression is true, then the clause was getting executed. Similarly here, if either of the conditions evaluates to true, then print statements will get executed. Vowel. Else you can print it as a consonant. If the statements are too big, we can make it multi-line using backslash. If we use backslash, the Python interpreter treats this complete statement to be in one line. This is I did this because for the readability reasons. So now let me try to execute this. I'll enter alphabet as S. So S is alphabet A? No. Alphabet is E? No. Is the alphabet I? No. Is the alphabet O? No. Is the alphabet U? No. Hence, else block got executed. So if I try to run it now and enter A, you can see this particular expression got evaluated to true. Hence, this print vowel got executed. Let me try to add O as an input alphabet. Here also you can see it is a vowel as this expression got evaluated to true. Hence the print vowel got executed. Now let us try to go to the next problem statement, which is pass or fail. So what we try to do here is, I'll just write, this is as simple as odd or even, so I'll just try to write the code here itself. Assuming we get the input from user, marks, which is to be some, let's assume it is 50, and if marks is greater than 35, we can say the student has passed, and if the marks is less than 35, then we can say the student has failed. So this is how we solve pass or fail. And now this also we have solved in odd or even. So we know if a entered number is divided by 5, then num modulus 5, my modulus 5 should evaluate to 0, should be equal to 0. Since if a number is divisible by 5, then there will be no remainder. So then say num equal to 25. Then we can say print divisible by multiple of 25, multiple of 5. Else not a multiple of 5. So let us try to solve greatest of two numbers. Let us assume the user has inputted first num to be 10 and second num to be 15. If num1 is if num1 is greater than num2, then we say num1 is greater than num2. Else you can say num2 is greater than num1. Num2 is greater than num1. Let me try to execute this. As you can see, num2 is 15 and num1 is 10. Is 10 greater than 15? No. Else block gets executed. As you can see here, num2 15 is greater than num1 10. So one final problem statement is we have to classify the user's age into categories which are child, teenager, adult or senior. So now let us try to implement that. Let me copy the problem statement. Age category.py. This is the problem statement. Assume the age is inputted by the user. Let us try to do. If age is greater than 0, age is 0 to 12 inclusive, so age should be greater than 0, greater than or equal to 0. And age should be lesser than or equal to 12. Then we can call the user as child, or Elif age is greater than or equal to 13 and age is less than or equal to 19. You can categorize the user as teenager. For Elif, age is greater than or equal to 20 and age is less than or equal to 59. You can call the user as adult. And if the user is 60 or above, we can call them as senior. Let us try to execute this. Currently for this example, I am considering the age to be 50. So 50 falls under adult group. So only print adult should get executed, as 50 is greater than 20 but lesser than 59. Both the conditions got evaluated to true. Hence, this particular block should get executed. Let me run it. As you can see here, adult got printed in the terminal. Alright, so let's quickly recap everything we learned in today's session on conditional statements in Python. We firstly started looking at the basic if statement and then followed by if else and if elif else for conditional checking. Next we covered logical operators like and, or, not. I think we missed not. Not basically makes true to false and false to true. This is what not does. And these logical operators and or and not helps us build more powerful and flexible decisions in our code. We also used comparison operators like greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, or not equal to. And finally, we practiced with a real world examples like checking pass or fail, order even numbers, multiples of 5, and simple age based categories. So by now you should be comfortable writing all kinds of conditional logic using if, elif, and else. These are the foundations you will use in every Python project you build going forward. If you found this helpful, make sure to like the video, leave your questions in the comments, and subscribe so you don't miss on the next lessons. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.